And I'm joined now by California Democratic Senator Laphonza Butler. She's also a longtime political ally and confidant of Vice President Harris. Senator, thank you for being with us. I want to start with something you told some of our team on the Hill yesterday. This idea that Trump would get, you said, a reaction that he didn't expect from the black community and the Indian community. As Vice President Harris said, he's been making these kind of statements on the political stage for nearly a decade now. I guess my question is, why should we expect this reaction to be different?
Thanks for having me, Garrett. It's good to be here and talk with you. Look, I think that the comment that I was making to your colleagues on the Hill truly is about how I think the American people are sick of the old tricks. This is the one card that Donald Trump has played since he came down that elevator in 2016, and it is, or escalator, I'm sorry, in 2016. And you know, people have seen him do the bully trick. People have seen him do the name calling trick. People have seen him do the birtherism trick. He's got nothing else but the card of division. And I think that every community that he was trying to insult yesterday, and I think it's not just Black and Indian, but I think it's the American people writ large, are sick of division, are sick of hate, and want leaders that are actually going to bring our country closer together to try to solve problems, which he clearly has no interest in doing.
And politically, then, what do you make of the fact that, as you argue, this is the same old trick over and over again, people are sick of it, and this race is functionally tied?
And the vice president is 10 days in.
Yeah. That's a fair point. It's a new race. I want to ask you a little bit more specifically about the comments from yesterday. Just as an African-American woman, what did you hear from Donald Trump when he was making those comments yesterday to NABJ? Is that a lazy political attack? Is it pure racism? Tell me.
It's Trump's cynicism. It is Trump thinking that he is smarter than everybody else in the room. He showed up at that conference of Black journalists with the absolute intention of saying and doing exactly what he said and did, not to convince any new voters to come to come his way, but to try to be dismissive of the vice president's credentials, to try to somehow suggest that her Blackness or her Indian heritage somehow disqualifies her from being capable of leading the country when she's not only been vice president for the last 3.5 years, but that she was the Attorney General of the state of California, largest state's Attorney General's office in the country. She's the U.S. Senator from the state of California. I think that her credentials stand for themselves, and I think that he was doing the same old thing that he always does.
Before you got to the Senate, you ran a political organization, so you know full well the battleground states could be decided by a few thousand votes here and there, and the margins are really important. Do you think there is any small group, perhaps young Black men, that's who Trump campaigners say they're trying to target, who could be receptive to those comments in an electorally significant way? Like, I'm truly trying to figure out who he thinks he's talking to or who he wants to talk to when he makes comments like that.
You know, Garrett, most importantly, before I came to the United States Senate, I was the president of a labor union. I led a union and worked with women who were caregivers in nursing homes and provided care to seniors and people with disabilities in California. And what I know to be true from the American people who are going to be going into those ballot booths or sitting at their kitchen table filling out their mail-in ballot is that they want a leader who actually has a vision for themselves, their family, and future generations. And so if you are going to spend your time trying to figure out who Donald Trump was talking to, I would say good luck to you. I'm going to spend my time talking to working families all over this country about the vision of the future that Vice President has to bring this country to its next level of excellence for the future generations who deserve so much more than hate and division.
Well, alas, Senator, figuring out who Donald Trump is talking to and what he's trying to say is my job, so I am going to keep trying to do it. I want to ask you, if you would, to put on that political strategist hat here for a minute, because, you know, you do advise the Harris campaign. You talk to Kamala Harris. If you're going to tell them how to make the best political use out of what Donald Trump said yesterday, how would you tell them to kind of highlight or not what Donald Trump said in terms of activating voters?
Look, I think it's a simple equation of acknowledge, reject, and project forward. You've got to, in campaign context, this is an opportunity to use your opponent's words to define him and to define himself, but also paint the clear contrast. And that is what this has to be. He doesn't get to get a free pass for saying the despicable things that he said yesterday. At the same time, we can't dwell there because the American people has no patience for that kind of trash. What they want from public leaders is to have a vision forward. And that's the clear contrast that we have here. And that's, as a strategist, the opportunity that has been given to us.
Well, Senator, I'm almost out of time, so I'll ask you a future forward question. Is there anyone who you have seen from this vice presidential shortlist that we're all familiar with who you think is particularly effective at projecting that kind of future forward leadership and might make a good ticket mate for the vice president?
Garrett, you said yourself, I've worked in politics and around politics for a long time. The answer is they're all great. And she has a great set of candidates to choose from.
All right.
And I'm excited to see who she chooses.
All right, Senator, I appreciate that. You know what my favorite part of the Veep Stakes is? When it's over. So thank you for coming on and talking about this with us. We got to leave it there.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.